What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're doing another prospect breakdown. Today, we are looking at Isaiah Simmons. This is someone that a lot of you guys all wanted to see, okay? So many people in the comments were like, hey, let's talk about defensive players because I did Jerry Jeudy. I know that a lot of people were happy about that. Look, I'm not saying we're going to draft Jerry Jeudy, but I did tell you guys that we're going to go through pretty much every single prospect. We're going to try to. I mean, we're probably going to miss out on some 7th rounders and stuff like that, but we're going to try to go through pretty much every single main prospect, okay? So keep that in mind. So if it's offense, you're like that, we would never draft him. I get it. We're just still going to go through everyone just for the heck of it because we still have 2 weeks left at the NFL. And between that now and the draft, we have a lot of months to talk about stuff. We have over 100 days. I think that's right. That's math. We have a while before the draft starts. So let's just get right into it. Isaiah Simmons. All right, y'all, so I did Isaiah Simmons breakdown, and this one I went a little bit deeper than some of the other ones. More film I watched on this guy, more I looked into him. I really like this player because the thing is, once you hear his stats, they're not going to be like, oh, wow, this player is great. We definitely need to draft him. He's not a guy with the crazy stats that everybody's getting hyped about, like a Chase Young that has like 16 sacks, you know? Isaiah Simmons don't have stats like that, but he's a really good player. From what I can see, this dude could be a perfect fit for the Detroit Lions, and let me tell you why. Okay, so Isaiah Simmons is a junior currently at Clemson. Okay, he's a 6'4", 230-pound linebacker. For some reason, some websites have him listed as a safety, which I guess he could be. He's number 11. I'll tell you why I guess he could be a safety, but he's more of a linebacker. But I guess he is versatile enough. That would be a big safety, a 6'4", 230-pound safety. That would be scary. 21 years old, not a very old player. Obviously, he's in college. He's only 21 years old. But this dude's stats aren't very crazy. So we're going to go back to 2017. Started off in 2017. He had 45 total tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 0 picks, and 6 pass deflections. Okay, then in 2018, which was not this year but last year, he started to get his name out there, and he was pretty well known after the season, where he had 89 total tackles, 1.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 1 interception, and 6 pass deflections. Okay. Pretty good stats. Now, again, these are numbers that are going to blow you away. Keep that in mind. And then this season, 2019, so far, 93 total tackles, 6.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions, 6 pass deflections. I don't know why every year he has 6 pass deflections. I don't get it. But he was really good this season, and last season he really made a name for himself back in 2018, 2019. This year he kept it going. 6.5 sacks was a huge boost from what last season. I mean, that in production makes his stats look a lot better. 6.5 sacks versus 1.5. That's a huge difference. And a lot of teams are going to look at that, so that's huge. But that's not even what I'm really focused on when I look at Isaiah Simmons, because he does so many other things well that I think the Lions would love to have on their defense, especially with the kind of defense that they run currently under Matt Patricia, assuming that he's going to be back next season. I looked at Clemson because, as we know, Clemson plays in the ACC. They don't play a lot of great opponents, okay? ACC is not very good at football. Let me just throw it out there, okay? I think the best game they really had this season was North Carolina. This is football, not basketball, guys. Keep that in mind. Yeah, they don't play a lot of good teams in football, okay? The 2 best teams that I was able to find was Texas A&M and Virginia, okay? Those are the 2 best teams I was able to find. His stats versus Texas A&M, 6 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 pass deflection. Stats versus Virginia, 9 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 interception. So, nothing huge. Just a couple of tackles here and there, 6 to 9 tackles. It's not bad. He's not bad. I mean, that's pretty good. You got to think, 93 tackles in the amount of games he's played versus the NFL. That's pretty good. So he could be potentially like a 70, kind of 80 type of tackle guy in the NFL, you'd think, if he has a big enough role. And that would obviously be huge for our defense. But the thing I love about Isaiah Simmons is not the tackling. No, it's that versatility, guys. I talk about versatile all the time. Are you versatile or are you not? This man is the definition of versatile. That's why people list this man as a safety, because he is. He does everything well. You can do literally anything you ask as a linebacker position, okay? You can play middle linebacker. You can play outside linebacker. Heck, this dude can basically play slot cornerback. I'm not kidding. Watch him. I watched a lot of film from Isaiah Simmons, and there's a lot of things to like about this man, okay? Now, Clemson, they play a lot of mix of stuff. I mean, I think they're listed as a 4-3 type of defense, but if you watch them, they play a lot of weird stuff. Sometimes they just put 3 down linemen and 3 linebackers because, they have a lot of nickels and safeties out there, and it's like, okay, this is a weird defense. I've seen him play some 3-4, I've seen some 4-3, they mix it up. So the good thing is, he's played in pretty much all of the situations that he could as a linebacker, right? He's been mixed into every single situation that you would think of. So that's obviously a good thing to have experience there. Then he's a freak athlete. Like, you think athlete, right? You think athlete in sports, like, oh, how much of an athlete is he though? He's got the skill set. Is he an athlete though? This dude is an athlete. 6'4", 230 pounds. This dude is a monster. I'm telling you, this dude's a freak. This guy can do it all. And when I say versatility, not only does he have the skill set and the ability and the practice playing in different positions, He's crazy athletic, which means he can pretty much do whatever he wants defensively. Looking at some of his pros, he's got that top-end speed. And what I mean by that is basically the closing speed. You know, sometimes when the quarterback gets out of the pocket and you have those dudes chasing him like linebackers, they just cannot catch him. And then they get like 5 yards. It's like, oh, we almost had him, you know? No. None of that. Not with Isaiah Simmons. This dude has that closing speed where all of a sudden, you know, he's chasing it, boom, boom, and he just knocks him out like, dang, Isaiah. Calm down. That's what he has. He's a great blitzer, okay? He reminds me of a Jared Davis type of blitzing sometimes. Sometimes he comes off the edge, but they do give him a couple of plays from what I've seen with Clemson where he'll, like, hesitate and then blitz up the middle. Exactly what Jared Davis does. Now, the only difference is Jared Davis misses a lot of those, but actually it's not too much different because Isaiah Simmons does miss some tackles too. That's really one of his major cons. But he plays very similar to Jared Davis on the inside role, but he also plays on the outside a lot more because he's known as an outside linebacker at Clemson. That's where he plays most of his time. But when he is inside, he does like a little delay bit blitz, and it really reminds me of what Jared Davis looks like. But the outside stuff really reminds me of what Devon Kennard looks like. We know when we put him on the line. He actually had a sack last week. Those guys that get on the line, he plays the edge. He reminds me of Devon Kennard in that asset. That's why I said he's very versatile. He looks like both of the players mixed, and that's what's really cool. And that's why I think he would really help because Matt Patricia loves his linebackers. Obviously, our defense wasn't very good this season. We know linebacker is definitely a big need. This player, I think, would literally be perfect, and I think potentially, I mean, you don't have to risk it, but maybe if you're like the second pick and you want to just trade down, and Chase Young doesn't go to the draft or something, maybe you just trade down because you can add extra picks and still take him, okay? This dude can do it all. He can go against offensive linemen. There's times where he's up against offensive tackles and he goes by them. It's like, hold up. That's why he reminds me of Devon Kennard. He makes different moves. He doesn't just run out to the edge. Sometimes he cuts inside. It's really nice to see what he can do, okay? He's super versatile, and that's what I really like about this man. If we're still in the pros, he's a great coverage player, and this is the biggest reason. I underlined it a couple times. This is the biggest reason I would draft Isaiah Simmons. Simply, his coverage ability. We can't cover out the linebacker position very well. Jelani Tavai had a pick, so he's going to grow, and I think he's going to be a pretty solid coverage guy. Jared Davis hasn't been able to cover for a while. Reeves maybe not terrible. He doesn't play a lot, though. Isaiah Simmons, this dude can cover, okay? That's the thing that I was like, hold up. I was watching this dude's film. I saw this dude move out like far away from the play and pick up a slot wide receiver. I was like, hold up, what is he doing out there? Dude looked like a natural. I was like, hold up, is that Isaiah Simmons or is that a cornerback? No, it was Simmons. He can cover, y'all. And I'm not talking, oh yeah, he can cover a tight end. He can cover slot wide receivers. This dude can cover slot wide. He covers both, and he can cover a tight end very well. I mean, you got to think about our defense. Look at our linebackers. Last couple of years, we've been like, oh, the problem is we can't cover tight ends. This dude can cover tight ends and slot wide receivers. I mean, I don't know what else you would ask for. A linebacker that can, and I'm not saying like a guy that just goes out there and matches up with him and gets burnt. No, I'm talking about a guy that literally can make plays on the ball. 6 pass deflections every year. He had 2 interceptions this season. This dude can cover. And when you look at anybody else review Isaiah Simmons or talk about this man as a prospect, oh, they rave about it. They're like, wow, this guy's such a good coverage guy. Oh my goodness, he might be the best coverage linebacker I've seen so far. Okay, obviously I have a lot of guys to go through, but I haven't also looked at another linebacker. Either way, he's really good at it, and I know he is because I've seen our linebackers trying to cover people. This dude can do it, and that is the main reason I would say get Isaiah Simmons. This is like, oh my gosh, I think this would be perfect for the Lions. I can't explain it. He's very good ball in the air awareness. When the ball is thrown, he's good, very good aware. I mean, he looks like a slot cornerback. He's like a really big one, and he's not the fastest, I guess you would say, but he's pretty athletic. I mean, he's not corner fast, but he's fast enough. You know what I mean? Like Danny Amendola. Amendola ain't going to run by you, but that helps a guy like Isaiah Simmons because he would be able to keep up with him. Now, obviously, if you put Tyreek Hill on him, that would be a mismatch anyways. But it'd be a mismatch for a lot of guys because Tyreek Hill is just like a missile running, like a mini missile. He's like, no? Okay, very good player. He can match up. He can take players out of the game, and this is huge, okay? He's a matchup. I don't know what I wrote here. I can't read right. He's a matchup something, okay? Basically, he can take certain matchups and almost take them out of the game. Like sometimes, you know, you come into a game and you're like, oh, watch George Kittle versus these linebackers. You know, he's going to have a field day. Not versus Isaiah Simmons, he won't. I mean, he may have a few catches because it still is a mismatch. But he's not little, right? He's 6'4". He's 6'4". That's tight end size. He's athletic. He can cover him. He's fast. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how much I like this prospect right now. Now, there are some cons. I'll get to in a second. He's good off the edge, like I said, and he's a big hitter. This man has a motor, man. He just wants to hit people. He's always jacked up. He wants to hit people. Now, there are some cons, and let me get into those. One, he can duck his head sometimes. I hate when players do this. They duck their head. They lose sight of the ball. That's when you see people jump over them because they go like this. The guy jumps over him. Then he's like, oh, you know, unless you're Hawkinson, you hurt yourself. Sorry, that was a terrible joke. I'm sorry, Hawkinson. I'm glad you're okay. And that's definitely a problem. Sometimes he misses tackles, which is definitely the biggest concern to me, that he sometimes doesn't make a clean tackle. He just kind of pinballs off him. It's like, oh, no. No, not again, man. If that thing doesn't constantly come up with Isaiah Simmons and he can discipline himself to wrap up every time, which I'm not sure he can because I don't know how well our coaches are, this is literally the perfect prospect for us. I'm not even kidding. Like, this dude, he's a good outside linebacker. Now, he can struggle with his inside strength. Yes, he's a pretty big dude, but he can struggle a little bit on the inside because he's known as an outside linebacker. This dude can cover without wide receivers. What do you expect? Not really known as much as a middle linebacker, and I don't think we'd play him there. I mean, let's think about it. If we drafted this guy, I don't see Jared Davis going anywhere next year. This is what happens when your tripod breaks. You have to adjust. And now, you're looking at me from this angle, but that's cool. Hopefully, we can at least get through the rest of the video, okay? So he's not known for that middle linebacker, inside type of linebacker, but if you look at our roster, if we brought him in, I don't think he would need to be used there either way, unless for some reason you got to get rid of Jared Davis, and then maybe you can look at another middle linebacker. There are middle linebackers we will go through, but he's more of an outside linebacker, which I think we desperately need, a guy that can cover. And I think this is that dude that can cover, but also play like a linebacker. He can't just cover and then not do anything else, and you can't blame that linebacker because he's a liability. No. He's both, and I don't see a lot of these players, okay? Maybe I don't do enough prospect stuff, but I don't see a lot of these guys. And as I continue to go through, maybe we'll see more guys like this. I don't know. But so far, this dude, I'm loving this dude, okay? Like I said, they used him in a lot of different ways at Clemson. It wasn't like he was specifically in one set. They're known for the 4-3, but he was used in different ways, so that's really good. He reminds me of Kennard, reminds me a little bit of Davis. There's a couple of cons that I think you could be worried about, like inconsistent tackling, which is huge. That's like the biggest con. Oh my gosh, you got to make sure you wrap up. Other than that, though, I think this dude is going to be perfect. He could be a perfect Lion. Isaiah Simmons, people, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Thank you, Pat, for watching, and I'm out.